Hello, welcome back. I am Tanya from Tanya's Witchy Kitchen, and how are you doing today? Today we are doing a soap with a thin lines pour out of a bowl. So a bowl swirl into a thin lines pour. I don't know if they're really technical soaping terms. The only one I remember from when I first started was trace. Everything was about trace. And then you realize that trace is also just a soaper's term that really is emulsion. And at what point of emulsion? Is it a thicker emulsion or a thinner emulsion? But yeah, so a lot of times this is what I call it. So if it's the wrong term, by all means correct me. But anyway, so we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna chit chat at the end. Let's go check out Girls Night Out. Okay, into our soap, Girls Night Out. Originally, this was a wine soap, but this time it's not a wine soap. We're just doing a basic, plain, old soap, which they are. Soap is soap is soap, right? Yes. So what have we got going on? We are doing a bowl swirl with a side-to-side thin lines pour. Okay? And sometimes you get a thicker line pour or a thinner line pour, but it's still to me, yeah, I mean, So it's a thin lines pour because it's overall going to end up as a thinner line than you would, otherwise. So the scent of this is Classic Coco by Brambleberry. I have never used this before. Never. And so, but everybody is like, oh, I love the scent. I love the scent. And it was, at first I was just like, out of the bottle, I was like, meh, And sometimes there's a lot of fragrance oils that are just meh, out of the bottle. But you make them in the soap and it just blossoms and blooms, and that's how I felt the scent was. It wasn't an overpowerful, cloying perfume smell. Does that make sense? I hope so. So my colors for this are the original colors, which was titanium dioxide. Yep, there we go with the titanium dioxide, which is what I consider my base color. Okay, so it's, let me see, a 32 ounce batch. There's 7 ounces in the pink ballet slippers, that's right there, and there's 7 ounces of batter in the Into the Void. I love the Into the Void. That is from Nurtures Handmade. It's got this glittery mica color to it. It's just fabulous. So those are my colors. They are the original colors except for Into the Void. But the original color was you'll see it at the end. It's very similar. So I like the change up. The change up was, a good thing. So bowl swirl. We put all the batter into the bowl, obviously, but I always alternate, like the black goes on both sides and then the pink goes on opposite sides of itself. And then you simply start at one end of the mold and slowly pour across. I am doing this at regular speed. I am showing you, this is how slow I actually pour this in there. Yes, this is the original speed. It's not slowed down. It's not speeded up. I don't like that there's so much white right there, but we have to deal with it anyway. And see, that's the reason I don't like the Clyde swirl, which is where you build the swirls, you build the layers into the bowl and then pour, because to me, it gets too thick. Those bottom layers, they kind of just, for me, they just blend together and get thick and separate. And so that's just me, Some people do them beautifully. It's just me. So I'm going to try and finish pouring the bowl part of this on top, which is the start of decorating the top. So then comes the pink color that goes on the side, and then the pretty Into the Void that goes in the middle. I think I used pewter last time, but I wanted to do an upgrade. So what do you think I want to do? I should have swirled it. I always second guess myself, but I decided to flick it. Yeah, it's so much fun flicking it. I always second guess myself. There's just so much to do with the top. You know what I mean? You could pull it sideways. You could swirl it. You could, make the zigzag and all the things. But here it is the next day. Look at that beautiful bar. It's not white. It's not totally white like I wanted it to be, but that's okay because it works. And look at those layers. Look at those layers. Aren't they just amazing? They're just so pretty. I love the thin lines pour. As you can tell, I do quite a bit of it. It just works really well with my molds too. I don't see why you couldn't do, like in a big slab mold where they make like three loaves in one. Maybe that would be a little harder. I think if you had two, just it made two molds, you could easily do that. But the bowl swirl, the nice thing about it is if you have like a more fast accelerating fragrance oil, if you work fast enough, you can still get those thin lines out of the soap. You just gotta go fast. And sometimes you'll get them, they'll be a little thicker, like my top half of the bar. Those are thicker lines than the thin lines at the bottom. You know what I'm saying? But these are cute. They are kind of funky that the white didn't totally turn white. Maybe I needed more titanium dioxide, which is always a thing. I err on the side of caution with that one. Do you? Do you err on the side of less is more? Or are you one of those who, I don't care, it's going to be white whether it wants to be or not? But I am happy with those swirls. I am very happy with those swirls. They're very cute. Very, very cute. Let's see. Classic Coco says it discolors to a tan, which is why it's not white. That makes perfect sense, doesn't it? Yes, it does. It really does. I love my knife. It's not really a knife, it's a little spatula, but dang, I have used that thing. I like the spoons. I got measuring spoons with it. But at first I was like, what am I going to do with this? But it's awesome. Like the soap. And here are the fragrance notes for these bars. Here are the bars when I first cut them. And here are the bars when they're totally cured. The ones on the right are the original bar. So we talked before about scrolling your life away, right? I think people are so obsessed with social media because it gives them attention also. People commenting on your posts or, interested in your life, where the people around you in your homes probably don't seem that interested. How do you feel when you're really trying to approach somebody and tell them something serious and they're constantly on their phone? It's not that fun because you want to get your point across, and you're trying to get your point across, but they're still you know, scrolling through their phone and looking for something that because, you know, something came up and crossed their mind. And then it's like, well, what was your point, you know? And you're trying to tell them something that is meaning to you and important, and, you know, oh wow, ooh, did she? Oh, wow. Okay. Give them goosebumps. Yeah. And you see what I'm saying? It totally takes their attention away from you, and you feel like you're not heard and you're not that important. If you go back, I don't know how long, it depends how long you've been following me. I was going through this phase, or not phase, but I was putting up how to be a good man postcards in our bathrooms because, you know, I just felt it was necessary, right? One of the things is, don't eat with your cell phone, eat with your family. But in reality, you're scrolling your life away. You're ruining your relationships. You are not giving the time and attention to the people that really mean something to you. Because let's be honest, at the end of the day, at your funeral, this sucker ain't gonna show up. All those people on there aren't gonna show up. You better hope your family shows up and that you gave them the time and attention they needed and deserve. I mean, why do you think kids are out of control? They need attention. They need love. They need time. So, how is that task going? Have you cut your social media in half? How about a fourth? How about 10%? Let me know how you're doing. If you need somebody to bounce off suggestions or ideas, or even just, you know, fist bump, just hit me up with a email or comment down below. Yeah, it's so important. That's it for today. I will leave you with 3 things to take with you. Dream big. Be true to you. And you are worth it. And so is everyone else in your life. And as always, I hope you had a good time. Thank you for dropping by. I will see you next time. God bless.